Am I the a-hole for announcing that my dad's not paying my college tuition? My aunt and uncle are paying for my cousin's college. My dad had a college fund for me, but he had stipulations. Like he wanted nothing below a B for grades and to pre-approve any classes I take, weekly meetings to discuss grades, and a bunch of other stuffs. Which would be fine if you have a normal dad, but mine isn't. My dad has a temper, and I spent 6th to 12th grade stressed out about grades, and being screamed at or grounded over things that sometimes weren't even my fault. Like a teacher not updating online grading, and an assignment being marked missing because of it. And getting my backpack and locker randomly searched by him, for no reasons besides to make sure I'm not hiding anything. So I decided to pay for college myself because 1, not being stressed over getting screamed at, and 2, I didn't feel like constantly worrying that he'd disapprove of a class or a grade and decide not to pay, which I could totally see him doing. I'd rather be in debt than controlled for 4 more years, and I just finished my first year. Well, my family got together on 4th, and, well, sometimes they're nosy. They were talking about my cousin's school, and my uncle looked at my dad and said, "Well, how much is Opie's school costing you?" I said, "What are you asking him for? I'm the one paying for it." Later on, my dad was pissed off and said that it was out of line to say that, and that I embarrassed him. I didn't do it to embarrass him. I was just being honest. He doesn't even know how much tuition is, so he was the wrong person to ask. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Lol, not the a-hole. I admire you. This 1,000 times. Props to Opie to ditching his dad's toxicity and being his own man. Now his pops has nothing to hold over him, and he can tell him to kick dirt when he does something toxic again, such as being mad about telling his uncle he's paying for his own school. Not the a-hole. So what if he was embarrassed? His emotions are not yours to manage. You just told the truth. Hell, expand on it. Yeah, there were too many micromanaging strings attached to accepting money that I didn't want to relieve my anxiety-ridden high school years. Also, your dad sounds ridiculous and kinda scary. Maybe low contact is the way to go. I decided that it wasn't worth my soul to have him pay for college. Not the a-hole. It's embarrassing to him that you hate his control so much you turn down college being paid. And rightly so, he should be embarrassed. Not the a-hole. Opie, it's really admirable how you're pursuing a college degree in spite of so many obstacles. I wish you best of luck. Thank you, I appreciate that. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for canceling stepdaughter's birthday party? My stepdaughter is in her upper teens, turning 18, and lives mostly with her mom. My husband works a lot and is a very involved dad, but asked me to be in charge of planning her party, and I agreed. I spent several $100s and many hours of my own time making sure I had everything just right. Recently, stepdaughter's mom verbally lashed out at my husband and was screaming and cussing at him. I snapped at her and told her she has no right to speak to my husband in that way and to shut her mouth. Stepdaughter flipped out saying I attacked her mom, and now both mom and stepdaughter are scared and traumatized. Stepdaughter also uninvited me from the birthday party, saying she's too uncomfortable to have me there and wants her mom there. The party I planned and paid for. So I ended up canceling the reservation, catering and decoration rentals, and opting to put that money towards what I feel is a better cost and use of my money. Am I the a-hole for ruining her birthday? Edited to Ed. Stepdaughter was not present for the argument. She heard from her mom that I basically told her to shut up later. Bio mom drove to our home and was in our driveway screaming and cussing at the top of her lungs. I went outside and told her to shut her mouth because this is our home, and she has no right to speak to my husband in that matter, and I will not tolerate it. 1. Stepdaughter was not a witness to what happened. Bio mom told stepdaughter later, and apparently Bio mom was so shaken up and upset that stepdaughter can't handle it, and called me to tell me I'm no longer invited to her party or to be any part of her birthday, as my presence would make stepdaughter and her mom feel too uncomfortable to enjoy themselves. 2. The argument was over elaborate gifts for stepdaughter. Bio mom's family has money, but my husband does not come from a well-off background. Bio mom wanted/demanded the husband buy stepdaughter over $5,000 in jewelry and tickets to several different concerts, which husband cannot currently afford as we took a hard financial hit over COVID. He told Bio mom he can't do it, and she came over flipping out that he's a bad dad, and that if he really loved his daughter, he'd find a way to do it no matter what. Not the a-hole. After Opie commented that the daughter and mom got mad because husband could not buy the daughter some expensive things, accused him of not caring and that if he was a good dad, he would make it happen. That is manipulation. I'll get some downvotes for this, but I don't understand how one screaming match with no physical altercation has traumatized the daughter and by mom. Are they traumatized because dad said no and stepmom spoke up in his defense? I wouldn't let my partner's ex cuss at him and call him a bad father because he couldn't afford some expensive gifts. I wouldn't pay for a party I wasn't invited to either, but that's just me, I guess. Commenting to let you know, Opie said the argument didn't happen in front of stepdaughter, and mom just told her after the fact. So now I'm really confused as to how they were traumatized by this. Can you be traumatized by something you didn't even witness? Stepdaughter is saying she is traumatized by how upset and shaken her mom was when she got home. So basically, she's playing the victim card as hard as possible when she in fact was not in any way? You didn't ruin her birthday. She did. She decided to take sides based on partial information and bit the hand that fed her. Now you get to have a nice chunk of money for yourself and she gets a life lesson. Not a-hole. It's your money, and if she chooses to act like this, then she doesn't deserve a birthday party from you. And she definitely can't invite you from something that you paid for using your own money for that. She can get lost and ask her mom to throw a party for her then for acting like that. This, I'd also like to add, mom screaming at your husband in your driveway is definitely your business. And your stepdaughter isn't a child anymore. She's turning 18. And so many comments are acting like you canceled a 5-year-old's birthday party. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not trying to actively build a better relationship with my stepson? Last year, I, 38 male, married my wife, 40 female, after about 3 years of dating. And she had 2 kids, 17 male and 15 female, from her previous relationship. Going in, when we were talking about tying the knot, I made it abundantly clear that I would love to have a relationship with their sons, but I'm not okay forcing anything, and would just hope that the boys would accept me eventually. At first, my wife wasn't bored with this. The reason I don't want to force the relationship is that 1, I feel that good relationships are built naturally, and 2, I was the kid. And both my mom and dad and step-parents, mom's husband and dad's husband, tried to force me to treat them as parents, and that just made everything implode when I didn't. And to this day, I do not talk to my parents as step-parents, but about 10 years now. Well, anyways, I never tried to force anything. While my wife and I were engaged, I sat down with the boys and said, I won't try to force anything. I'm not trying to replace your dad, as he was a good guy and I miss him too. He was a colleague at work, but unfortunately passed away 5 years back. I had met my wife in a group grief counseling. I was there since my fiancé passed, and we had found solace in having each other in our lives. And life's just weird like that. Didn't even know she was my colleague's wife until she showed me a picture, and her sons are aware of the entire situation. But told them I'll be available if they do want to have more than just a cordial relationship, and they agreed to this. 15 has been more open to us having a relationship, while 17 keeps it completely cordial, as in we're civil towards each other and not at each other's necks. I'd still ask if he wanted to join 15 and me for whatever we were doing, but no hard feelings if not. But now, my wife has become increasingly more annoyed that 17 doesn't want to. The other day, my wife sat next to me and asked me to actively try to build a better relationship with 17, because it hit him especially hard when his dad passed. I said I'll ask him what he wants to do. It's his life and I'm fine with the way things are now. She said that he's just a kid and he doesn't know what he wants, and that I should take him fishing, just the 2 of us, so that we can have a more familial relationship. I again said I'll talk to him and ask if he wants to, but I'm not going to force it. She then got angry at me and said that if you don't try, nothing will happen. I know my kids. He's secretly hurting seeing you and 15 having a good relationship. So I asked if he told her that, and she said no, but still insisted to try more. It's not like I don't try. I still invite him out to ride bikes or whatever, even when 15 is busy. Just the 2 of us, but I just take his no as a no and drop it. I think he's content with how things are right now. I just want some outside perspective. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You're doing great. 17 is old enough to know if he wants to be around you, and eventually he may or may not want more. 17 years old is also old enough to build a deep resentment towards you if you smother him like a wife is wanting you to. It sounds as if she has good intentions, but disregards her 17-year-old's feelings. Maybe a good compromise could be asking him if he feels left out and encouraging him to come tell you if he ever feels excluded. It sounds like the two of you are in good terms as is. Thank you. Yeah, we're in fairly good terms. Like I'd say common pleasantries like good morning and stuff like that. Just not wanting to join in on like hikes or riding bikes or what have you. But another commenter pointed out that he may generally just not want to, as he is 17 after all. I agree that I should ask if he's feeling left out and encourage him to speak his mind more if he does at any point, and we'll squeeze that in when we get a chance to have a sit down. The only different approach I would take if it was me would be to make sure it's something 17-year-old is into. It might not be you, but the activities you choose. Otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. I think that could work out. Thinking about it, I usually invite him out to do outside activities. He likes to game, like Call of Duty or whatever the hot games are this year. But it's been a hot minute since I last picked up a controller. But I'd be willing to at least try. And hopefully still have the finger dexterity I had when I played games in my youth. Thank you for the suggestion. Not Day-Hole. I think your approach is the healthiest one here. And the 17-year-old is being cordial and civil, so there's not even an issue. I think pushing would ruin the relationship you have now and the possibility for a better one later. And I would truly like it if a better relationship started to form. But yes, I feel like pushing it would do the opposite. It's like when we were kids and the parents would set up play dates. Very rarely do those friendships last in my experience. Maybe it was me if all of them failed. But I stand by what I said near the beginning of the post, that good relationships come naturally. No one needs to be friendly with everybody, so on and so forth. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole if I let my dad's girlfriend know she can't stay at his house after he died? This past 4th of July, my dad passed away unexpectedly. The death was very traumatic. But it was worse for my sisters and I since we were the ones who found and tried to save him. My dad left the house in our names and wanted us to take care of it since he only bought it for us. Well, about 3 months beforehand, my dad's girlfriend came from Venezuela to live with him since they've been talking for about a year, and this would be the first time they've ever met. After my dad passed away, she has been crying and grieving just like us all, but there are certain things that she has done that has made my sisters and I upset. While viewing the body, she kept saying how he could leave her alone like that after her journey, and that he promised her that he wasn't. Then while my cousins were over to view the house at his room, she locked the room door, took the key, and then left to my aunt's house. I understand that she is grieving the death of the person she loved, but that was my dad, and she's not considering our feelings like that. She has told me that her pain is worse, and I just got offended because she didn't even try to save him. My sisters and I tried to save him, and we had to see him in a way that we never thought would happen. I'm not sure what to do because she is a good person, and my dad loved her very much and was very happy with her. But these little situations make my sisters and I a bit angry. Edit. I wanted to come and address some things. My sisters and I are not kicking her out right away. She can stay and grieve with us because my dad was the love of her life, but we are wanting to know what exactly she has planned. My sisters and I also have been incredibly kind in this situation because he was someone important to all of us. My family members are here helping us with the paperwork and everything. And from what I know, she only asked for a work visa and not for anything marriage related. I don't want to be rude to her, but it's just become something that has happened unexpectedly, and all the financial responsibilities have become my sister's and mine. We are being very considerate, but we just don't want our feelings to be invalidated because of what happened. My family members never saw the house, and my dad just bought it last August. So when I was trying to show them the house, they wanted to see how he did his room because he would always talk to them about it. The only thing that we want is to be able to go and have his shirts because they smell just like him. Not Day-Hole. Honestly, I'd get any valuables and important papers out of the house now as well, just in case. You haven't known her that long, really. Also, if the house is in Opie's and their sister's name, then they have say over the house in my opinion. She can find another place to stay, but shouldn't be around Opie and their sisters because she makes her grief out to be worse than hers. Opie and their sisters found their dad and tried to save him. Opie and their sisters knew him their whole lives and he was their father. The girlfriend only knew him less or just over a year, and from what Opie said, didn't even try to save him. However, grief and shock at something like that can hit people differently, so maybe she just froze. But her reaction to Opie's grief is unacceptable in my opinion. Dismissing someone else's emotions in general is a Nehal move. To make someone's grief seem less than yours is an even bigger one in my opinion, especially onto that grief being related to a traumatic event. Opie, I would do like the original commenter said and get all important paperwork and valuables out of the house. Get friends and understanding/trusted family to help out as well, as more people equals faster clean out. You also may need a lawyer to evict her since she has been living there more than a month or two, although I could be wrong. You definitely want to change the locks once you do get the house though. No a-holes here. Grief isn't measured, nor logical. She moved to a different country where she knew nobody and has now been left alone. Of course she's upset and frightened, probably not really thinking about how what she says affects others. Give her a bit of slack. That said, you will need to be clear over the next few weeks that your future plans for the house do not include her tenancy. Be gentle but firm, and definitely take legal advice before you say or do anything. Grief brings out the absolute worst in people, as do Reddit comments sometimes. Please be gentle with her and with yourselves. Not Nehal. I don't want to be hard on her because her boyfriend just died and she's grieving, but he's your dad, and she's not being respectful of your grievances at all. Regardless of who tried to save who, it's your house now, and she's crossing boundaries. Telling you that her pain is worse is ludicrous. How can losing your one-year online boyfriend possibly be equal to losing a father? Be nice, be civil, but be firm. If you want her to leave, then ask her to leave.